known to great fight fans as the Phenom for his explosive striking power that helped him secure the UFC light heavyweight championship. Here is the great Vitor Belfort. Hi, Vitor.
What's up, man? How are you, Fernando?
Great to see you guys today. And we're going to start with our first question coming from Dylan Boker.
Hey there, Vitor. Appreciate you making some time.
How you doing, Dylan?
Oh, I'm doing great, man. I was just curious because there was a period of time, a couple of years actually, where you were, signed with one championship. It seemed like the debut was going to come, never ultimately came to fruition, though. Can you provide some clarity on that situation? And as an extension of that, what was the timeline like, getting this boxing bout signed up?
So they could not close a fight. My agent Lloyd trying to close many fights there, but for some reason their agenda with my agenda we cannot consolidate it, and our contract came to an end. And Chatra is a very good, nice guy, good friend of mine. He said, Victor, we cannot find your fight. This pandemic hit was pretty crazy. And I think it just didn't align, what they're doing with what I wanted to do. And soon on that day, we cleared. I spoke to him, and when kind of the same day, it appeared this opportunity. And actually, the opportunity was amazing. It's just in 2000, I think in 2000 or in 2000, I was supposed to migrate from boxing, but this lawyer had $1 million contract, and they want me to go leave MMA to go box. And box being my bread and butter, I brought boxing to UFC. So I put them in the, if you let me do MMA and boxing together, I will do it, but I have to choose one. And back in the time, they said, no, my dream is to make MMA big. And here I did that. So, and now it's to kind of migrating into this next phase. I'm pretty excited what Triller is doing. I think they're literally shifting how combat sport is migrating. And I believe soon we're going to have the hybridization between boxers and MMA guys inside, see who has the best hands.
Yeah, for sure, man. Thanks for the time.
All right, Dylan, thank you. Next up is Rodrigo Tenori.
Oi, Vitor, tudo bem? Como é que você tá?
Maravilha, Rodrigo. Como é que você tá?
Tudo bem também. Um prazer aqui estar falando com você. Vitor, queria saber, primeiramente, como foi essa luta, né? Achar essa luta contra o Real Tarzann, já que você sempre se mostrou interessado, né, em se aventurar no boxe, fora do MMA, você até tinha desafiado o Brock Lesnar anteriormente, o próprio Anderson Silva. Como é que foi encontrar o Tarzann?
Bom, a luta era para ser com o Holyfield, mas o Holyfield não aceitou, o time dele aceitou. E aí eles falaram assim, você quer lutar com esse cara? Esse cara aqui é o único cara que aceitou. A gente tentou diversos caras, nenhum deles quiseram. E então a gente vai lutar com ele. Em agosto eu vou estar enfrentando o Holyfield. O combinado é esse. Você sabe que o meu desejo sempre foi poder fazer o hybridization entre os dois esportes. Mas, enfim, o Real Tarzann accepted, and I cannot say no. Let's go.
Obrigado, Vitor, por solucionar essa dúvida. E estamos aqui na torcida com você. Abração.
Abraço, irmão.
Okay, do we have another question? Anyone with a question? Let me know in the chat. Okay, next up is Gabriel Gonzalez.
Hello, Vitor. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Vitor, we've heard a lot of different opinions about the way the Triller show, the pacing is run. Sometimes fighters, you're waiting a long time in the back because the music is still going on. I wonder, what do you think about that? And just how do you see yourself preparing to possibly wait backstage a while, but stay ready to fight?
It's just you just understanding being present in the moment. And I think it's, I come from a totally different background. I'm a ready guy. You know, it's like I don't believe in anything else like just being in the moment, and you can only control what you can control. So, you know, I don't need that much time. It's just following what to do and do it. And that's it. So it's very simple.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next up is Christian Moreno.
Thank you for your time, Vitor. It is a very interesting situation we're in because legitimately from the people migrating from MMA to the whole boxing scene, you are the purest of strikers, and if anything, the more legit one. Does that add an extra pressure to the situation of this transition?
Hey, listen, remember, when you're diamond, you're born in pressure. You know, you got to deal with pressure. So people see pressure as a I have to, you know, I want to, you know. So it's like I believe, like, you know, I don't need to impress anyone. I come into realization of my life that I'm doing this for my why, not their why. So, you know, that my dreams always been migrating with both sports, see who's the best man with their hands. And I really believe I got, if not the best, is one of the best. I was the guy who brought boxing into UFC. You know, that's literally is like what people really love about the Phenom is the hand speed and agility and the way he strikes, different mechanic wise. So I'm excited to migrate and be able to, we're supposed to fight on that card against Holyfield, but his agent, everyone accepted, but I think he was not ready. But I guess we are planning to fight in August. You know, I don't believe nobody want to see Holyfield fighting his opponent that he was supposed to fight. So now is the time to literally see who's the best striker. You know, is the MMA or the boxer? And we know that we had one guy go boxing with, but you know, the guy who brought boxing to MMA was Vitor Belfort, and no doubt about it, I really believe in my skills as a boxer. And I'm excited because, you know, Tarzann was the guy who accepted, and he's not even a boxer, you know, and I got respect for the guy. You know, he really stepped up. And so I'm in, you know, it's like I never chose opponent. And the good thing about, you know, the difference between boxers and MMA fighters, you know, boxers need 12 weeks. They need this, they need too much. They become a diva. Versus MMA athletes, you cannot become a diva. It's like you got to stay ready. You have to study so many martial arts. You have to go through all the things. So, you know, boxing is for me is much easier on your body, much more fun. I think is much more glamour and is much more skillful. You got to be very skillful, you know. So you got to be willing to looking for the details. You know, I study biomechanics, so I love just study Muhammad Ali, you know, see the shuffle, see how he boxed and how he grabbed the guy. And you see Joe Frazier, how he moves his head, how creating the cross guard. So it's many ways. And so I have to study all martial arts and literally creating my own one I call the boxing martial arts. I have to learn how to strike and, you know, combining other martial arts together, you know, because we could get taken down or we could get kicked. So, and it's all about anticipation. It's similar to a quarterback, you know. Who's the best quarterback is the guy who has accuracy, who can anticipate, and who can lead. So these three things is very important for a striker. You know, I have to anticipate, I have to have accuracy, and I have to be a leader of yourself, being in a moment. And that's what I prepare my whole life. And right now at 44, what a joy to be able to be part of Triller. It's it's entertaining, it is sport, and it's this new way of presenting a product for these thousands of millions of fans. You know, it's not boring. You can hit generations. We can have the same room, a younger kid, 6 years old. They never saw the Phenom. And his father, who was a big fan of the Phenom, is there. You're going to watch this man. You're going to watch this man. And then you have the grandfather who's also follow. So it's like congratulations for all the producers, you know, Ryan Kavanaugh and the whole team who's putting that vision. And I believe we are coming to bring the baddest man of both sport to collide in August, me and versus Holyfield. That's my dream fight. And I believe that's your dream fight as well. But, you know, for right now, Tarzan gonna come to the jungle. You know, I'm not a domesticated animal. You cannot domesticate a big lion. So it's gonna be fun. You know, it's just very courageous on his part. He's not picking fights like the other two brothers, two big clowns of history. You know, they are Disney's boy. You know, they are not fighters. Tarzan is a fighter. He's fighting a fighter for real. He's not picking up opponents. You know, I respect a lot the guy.
Well, kudos to great moment, and thank you for your answer.
Christian, thank you. Next up is Damon Martin.
Hey, Vitor.
What's up, Damon? How are you?
Hey, Vitor, thank you so much. We have seen a lot lately, a lot of MMA guys crossing over to boxing or wanting to cross over to boxing. Ben Askren tried it. Tyron Woodley's doing it in August. What do you make of this current trend? Is it just about the payday? Have you been impressed by anybody? Just kind of curious your thoughts on this current trend we're seeing.
I just think they're the worst representation of MMA. This guy sucks. That's the word. Remember, man, you know, not because I'm a UFC fighter, I can go and fight karate. You know, it's not because you're a great baseball player, you can throw a baseball, you can throw a football. So remember, it's a skill they have to develop through the years. So these guys that you just mentioned, you know, I can fight all of them in one night. You put them, I'll put them out. You know, I believe like they cannot even survive 2 rounds with me. So these MMA athletes that are representing us in boxing. So I really think it's depending on your why. So you got to know your why. What's the purpose of doing things? I'm not doing things because I'm getting paid. You know, getting paid, you know, we all professional, but, you know, I believe you have to transform your passion into profit. And I think these guys, they're clowns, you know, they talk, you know, they don't do the work. And now they think they can jump in and, I'm going to make money. Who cares? You know, like, it's a shame. So you have to be able to do the work. So I've been boxing my whole life. I know I did the trials. I made the Brazilian team, but I couldn't go because I got an injury. So I didn't go to the Olympics. I almost became professional. I trained in Cuba in 1998 with Felix Savon, you know, Harinho Dial. So I really trained with the best boxers, trainers, my whole life. And my dream is being able to do both. And I couldn't, you know. William Morrison, when I was 20 years old, they made an encounter with me, and they convinced my mom to surprise me. Took me to my hotel. Come outside of the door was Muhammad Ali, you know. So they made a lunch. So they want to convince me to sign, become a professional boxer. And when Lorenzo Fertitta was not owner of the UFC, was the prior owner, and it was Milovic. Milovic was the name of the private owner. So prior owner. So I said, okay, I'll box, but I have to do both. And they had my coach Al Stanky there with my mom and the lawyer who made the introduction. And I looked at the contract, and it was millions of dollars of contract, but I said no. But you know, it was a very tricky contract. And I said, no, if you don't have the money here, because when they say, where's the money? Show me the money. They say, no, you're going to get paid. This is how it works. And I said, no. So if I cannot do what I love, I'm not doing this for money. I used to live in the gym. So if I was doing for money, I would get the money out there. So I said, my dream is always to do both. And I wanted to make MMA become a huge sport. And today MMA is if it's not bigger than boxing, it's right there. And I believe the guy that really can represent MMA and boxing, I'm there. You know, I'm between, if you choose 10 guys, I'm right down between the 3 best guys. So I really, it's time to come, and I'm excited to start my journey.
Thank you, Vitor.
All right. Thanks, Damon. We have a question from Stuart from Grassroots Boxing. He's having some mic issues. He's in the room, though. Stuart asks, what still drives you to get up in the morning and go training still?
I have 3 amazing kids. My son is the #1 quarterback in the nation. My daughter is one of the best outside hitter. My other daughter, Kiara, is the best gymnast in the East Coast. So I'm driven. This house is driven by purpose. When you find your purpose, when you know your why, you can go and achieve anything you want. But remember, the problem is like people are doing it for the money, for the fame. And that's 2 things that literally is the most devastating. And you can see in rock stars, most of them become overdosed, they die, or actors, Hollywood, they become crazy because they have too much money and too much power and too much fame. So this can mess with your brain. And they have all this, I don't know the right word to say, but that's why they kiss at people. They're kissing your ass. They all the time, carrying your luggage. They're doing all the stuff. I call these guys like the ball suckers. That's the word we use in Brazil. So I'm trying to avoid these people. I want them around. I want my team. I really want, my team with me and execute. We like to execute. That's it. And I have a dream. If my family is welcome, we go. If my family is not welcome, I'm out.
All right. Next up is Brendan Tobin.
Hey, Vitor, thanks for doing this. You spoke a little bit about having respect for Tarzann for taking the fight. I'm curious, what did you know about him when they brought this opponent to you? Because he's not a guy with experience. And was there any part of you that didn't want to do it because it's kind of looked at maybe as a no-win situation for a guy with as much experience as you taking on a guy who's new to combat sports? So what did you know about him and what made you say yes to this particular opponent?
Brandon, in this world, we have 3 types of people. Stay with me. Number 1, people, they make things happen. Number 2, people that watch things happen. Number 3, people that don't know what's happening. I'm right there on the number 1. I make things happen. And you cannot control life. It's supposed to be Holyfield, but Holyfield say no. And we are doing it in August. And they present Tarzann and say yes. Why yes? Because everything is a challenge. It's a win-win situation for him. But for me, it's a win-win situation. I go out there, I entertain the public. It's been 3 years I don't stop. I signed a contract with 1 championship. I could not fight for 2 years, and the pandemic hit. People look for excuses. I look for solution. I have an amazing agent, Lloyd. I have an amazing family, my wife and my 3 kids. I have amazing friends. They're not very popular, but they tell me the truth. So stick with what you know. Don't invest in what you don't know. I see a lot of people losing a lot of money in cryptocurrency and in stock market because they don't not know. They just heard and they go to Robinhood and do what they don't know. So I'm doing something that I know. And how I can say no for this kid is a very respectful kid. He knows what he's coming to it, but he's not looking for an easy fight. He said yes, one of the best, the most knockout artist in the UFC history until today. He said yes. So I have respect for the kid. He's not like the other 2 clowns. Hey man, it's a shame. You see these YouTubers popular, nice hair and all that. This kid loves animal. This kid, very respectful, coming from nothing, and he respect fighters. And I mean, he's stepping himself with one of the best, but I'm not domesticating cub, man. So it's going to be a fight. Yes. But I have respect and I say yes. Why not? Holyfield, right. On August, and we have Holyfield. Let's cross over. It's time for, making fights that fans love it, but also not just fight. It's the whole thing, the whole experience. Triller is bringing that thing that calls the experience. You cannot see that in all the events. That's what's amazing.
Great. Thank you, Brendan. Next up is Rodrigo Tanuri.
Vitor, voltei aqui falar contigo. Eu queria saber de você. Ontem aconteceu justamente aquela luta entre o Logan Paul e o Floyd Mayweather. Queria saber primeiro, o que você achou desse combate? E outra, se ainda te interessa enfrentar um dos irmãos no boxe, já que agora é a sua nova empreitada.
Eu enfrento os 2 na mesma noite. Eu faço melhor que o Mayweather. Boto os dois na mesma noite. Um round vem um, quando cansar, traz o outro. Eu desafio. I challenge. Triller. Bring the two brothers in the same night. I'll fight both guys. One round, come one guy. They got tired, bring the other guy. I'll put them out quickly. Before the 8th round, they're all out. They're both out. Why? We need to entertain. If you're going to entertain, let's do it real. Let's do it for real. And I mean, Floyd Mayweather is like a 150 pounds. I didn't see the fight. My time is very valuable. Meu tempo é muito valioso. Eu não vou perder meu tempo. I'm in training camp. I had only 2 weeks training camp. So time to work. Time to work. I'm not losing my time. What I watch, what I hear, what I see. So é muito importante. Então acho que foi o Floyd Mayweather. Me falaram que ele só agarrava o Floyd Mayweather. Eu não vi a luta, então não posso nem falar, mas eu boto esses caras para a lona rápido. Rápido, assim, ó.
Primeiro round, Vitor?
Não sei, mas entre o primeiro até o 6º, os dois estão para fora. Os dois não sobrevivem 6 rounds comigo. Os dois. Estou falando de um, não, dos dois.
Obrigado, Vitor. Vou deixar aí o pessoal aí te entrevistar também. Valeu.
Valeu.
Rodrigo, thank you. And now Dylan Boker.
Hey there, Vitor. I was just curious here because I was noticing in your pro boxing debut there in April 2006, you were still also concurrently competing with Pride Fighting Championships, which had a level of, pageantry and grandeur and everything like that. As you're getting ready for this, sophomore boxing effort, and you're competing under the Triller umbrella, which also was a similar entertainment-minded kind of idea. Like, does it have similar, I guess, hallmarks to back at that prior point in your career? Does it feel like an altogether new period in your career?
I feel truly is just in the next level. I think they literally are making this entertaining. And I used to love that time in Japan. It's totally entertaining. People have to understand this, Dylan. If you're not entertaining, you cannot make money. And if you don't make money, you cannot hire people. So the problem with fighters, they need to understand that before they become fighters, they're entertainers. So if you want to do a sport, you got to look for ATP, basketball, NFL, NBA. So when you talk about boxing, MMA, I understood in a later career that it's all about you become your own promoter. You have to become your own promoter. And you have to accept it, how people consume products. And it's funny how I used to think, why people don't like this? People have to consume this. They cannot consume this. No, you cannot obligate people to buy your product. So your job is to create a product and make them want your product. So that's called, becoming an entrepreneur. And I think Triller is just changing the game. He's literally putting everybody in the same room. They're putting the family together. All generations are together and watching amazing artists, watching amazing athletes from different sports, from different way of life. And I mean, literally, changing what was to be normal. And now it's just amazing. I'm so excited. I saw the first one when Tyson fought, was marvelous. The production, the whole thing, I'm very excited, especially on the Marlins arena. It's going to be insane. I'm so excited.
Thanks so much for the insights, man.
All right. Thank you, Dylan. And that concludes the portion of our press event with Vitor. Vitor, thank you very much for joining us. We look forward to seeing you next week.
Let's go.
All right.
Bye, guys. Thank you very much.